Hello and welcome to the Temple of Tomes with your host, Indie Comics Jones. Today is September 8th, 2020. This is episode 86, and we're taking a look at Vampire, The Last Masquerade, and this is issue 2. It also includes The Winter's Teeth, or I guess this is part of the line is The Winter's Teeth, and then a second story as well called let's see what it's called, the Anarch Chronicles? Oh, the Anarch Tales. So Tim Seeley is the writer. Dev Maya Prammanik is the artist. In the second story, it's written by Teeny Howard and Blake Howard and drawn by Nathan Gooden. Now, I wanted to say that I gave this a very high recommendation on the first issue that came out, and I'm following up with this again. They're really doing a nice job with this. I am not a big vampire fan. I've seen a number of vampire movies like Blade, the Stop movie, half of one of the Twilight movies, and didn't really get into that too much, and some other ones like Near Dark that are awesome, and some other ones that I've really enjoyed. However, I've never read any kind of vampire literature before. So this has been a pretty good education. It got a little bit heady in the first issue. I was a little bit lost at some of the terms that were thrown around, but I looked them up and kind of went ahead with it and enjoyed it. The character depth here is great, and they keep building on the characters. This cover here, we see who they call Prince Samantha. Prince Samantha, and she is the prince over both St. Paul and Minneapolis. And she's been the prince for many eons, basically, ever since they settled in that area. Really enjoying it, like I said. There's intrigue, there's all these different factions working against each other. It gets a little confusing at times, but there's a lot going on, which makes the story just move really quickly. At the beginning, we learn a little bit more about Prince Samantha. She was mentioned in the first, but now we actually see her and learn more about her and her background a bit. And it's very interesting. I just think the subtlety of the stories on some of these characters is just great. And as we know, the main character here, Cecilia Bain, has taken this Alexandra under her watch, and she's a new vampire, so she's kind of learning the ropes. And Cecilia is also learning about her. I'm probably gonna say that name wrong. It's Cecily, I think. So anyway, this Prince Samantha is introduced to Allie, the latest new vampire. She's really only been a vampire for a short time, but she's welcome into the clan, or the kindred, as they call it. And so first things first is they find out that Allie can't handle animal blood or blood bags. She needs fresh blood. So that's their first thing, is to go out and try to hunt for a being that can sustain Allie. And so Cecilia is trying to teach her the ropes, basically, and she teaches her a very valuable lesson, and a couple lessons, actually. So that's kind of what moves this story along so well. We just see that there's going to be a lot of conflict. Here's a group that is conspiring against the Prince Samantha, and we see that there's somebody watching behind them and attacks them. And if you remember this character from the first one, he wants Cecilia dead because she killed his girlfriend, who is a human, and he's a vampire. So there's a lot going on. It's really intriguing. I think they really put a good story together here. So they get their first kill for Allie, and things go horribly wrong, and it just moves right along. Just totally moves right along. I'm not going to show you too much because if you're interested in this, you should read it yourself and really enjoy it. Then we get to the second story, the Anarch Tales, and it goes to a little backstory about how this group comes together. Now, these guys are more like mutts, so to speak. They're all different types of vampires. They're not all just kind of one. Like one guy's turns into a wolf creature. That's his shape shift. Another one looks like a ghoulie all the time. One can actually can can live in daylight, and another one's just kind of a regular woman vampire that has to sleep at night. And her name's Priscilla. So they actually get ambushed in this one. They were heading towards Minneapolis. They stopped for a little bit because Mitch has gotten hungry. So he's trying to find his food. So I don't want to give this away either because this one really had it's only 8 pages, but they really brought the story around quite quickly on this, and they did the backstory as well. And then they give you a little bit of extra information. Plus, I guess if you play the card game, Vampire: The Last Masquerade, there's some little things here, tidbits about the characters and their point values and things like that. But they have a little blip here about Minneapolis, and these actually help the story a little bit too, reading about these, and then one about St. Paul. So all in all, it's 28 pages of comic for $3.99. Both stories have been very good so far, in my opinion. The writing is solid. The art's good. The art actually looks better than I remember it in this first one. So I don't know if the artist is getting more familiar with the characters. In the second one, I always like the art in this. So it's a great read right now. I highly recommend it. Here's what the next issue is looking like. I'm hoping that'll be out soon. And we'll see. So here's a little quick synopsis here. Cecilia Bain takes fledgling vampire Allie on a twisted tour of the night life of the Twin Cities, but those lessons can't prepare her for the assignment she has to complete. By Don Feeding. Okay, so recommend, especially if you like vampire stories. I think you cannot go wrong with this. The writing's strong. Tim Seeley doing a good job. Also, the Howards doing a good job on that second story, and I can't really find fault with it. I mean, other than my lack of knowledge of vampire lore, it's good story so far. Good character depth. I'm sure there's some people that won't like it that much, but because no one likes it. I mean, there isn't anything that everybody likes, but I think this is really good writing, so I recommend it. So, thank you for stopping by. Please like, please subscribe, please comment. I know it's late right now for me, and I'm really tired, but I wanted to do this one right quickly. And I thank you for stopping by. This is Indie Comics Jones from the Temple of Tomes. I bid you adieu.